community. When people of my size, height, and weight disappear without trace, that's it. How can a man big as I am disappear?
We have the brother to the Internal Affairs Minister. The brother, his own brother, the Minister for Internal Affairs, Otafiire. He's looking for his brother. He was my bedmate. His brother has been in the same place for 4 months. The family doesn't know where he is. They think he's dead. I left him in the cell and he asked me, Bob,
It is now believed that Kahinda Otafiire's brother was abducted and put in a safe house for months without trial. This came to be known when the Kenyan activist Bob Njagi, who was abducted recently, did an interview with the Kenyan media and said that when he was incarcerated in these safe houses, one of a person came out to say that he's a brother to Kahinda Otafiire and he was abducted. For me, at first, I never took the words of Bob Njagi. But when I followed the events, there is a day Kahinda Otafiire came out to speak about this. He came out to say that there is a man from Barara who has been abducted for months and has never been tried in the courts of law. So you clearly see that even those who are near power, they face such things. That one of the people, they can be abducted by a unit in the same government he serves in. Remember, Kahinda Otafiire is a bush general. Okay, he was among the people who went to the bush. He was there when MUSEVENI was sharing in. I think he's the one of the longest serving ministers currently. Okay, in short terms, he can be regarded as one who is near to power. So when he comes out to say that a person was abducted, a person he knows for months without being tried, yet he cannot even influence to him to be released, it clearly shows you how Uganda is failing. Because a person like Kahinda Otafiire can walk to MUSEVENI's office, tell him there is a person I know who was abducted. But if he cannot do that, you clearly see that we are heading to dangerous times. Before I proceed, I want to play a tape as Kahinda Otafiire was narrating this. Here's the tape.
Recently, I've heard of episodes of people being, so-and-so has been arrested. They are very good. 6 months, this person has not been brought to court. So-and-so has disappeared. Like now, recently, today somebody called me from Marara and said a gentleman called Wangomani, Amos Wangomani. He built big cadre of these middle cadres who fights from 70 to 70. He's been arrested. Amos Wangomani from Marara, just a simple businessman. He was arrested, he's disappeared for 3 weeks. His family went to court. First time he was not produced. Second time he was not produced. Yesterday they went to court. You know what the authorities told us? Including vicarious liability. They said we don't know where the man is.
So, first of all, that is Kahinda Otafiire speaking. If a person of Kahinda Otafiire's caliber can come out to say that there is a person he knows who has been abducted for 6 months and is a cadre of NRM, not even opposition, and has been kept for 6 months in the schoolhouse without trial, it shows you how our constitution is decaying. Sometimes I talk to NRM cadres and tell them, sometimes there are some overzealous NRM cadres who come out to say that indeed the regime is doing the right thing by abducting the opposition. And yet we all know that abductions are not allowed in the constitution. So for them to drum out that thing, one day abduction may be done on you, the NRM supporter, and you will not have no one to fight for you. A person Kahinda Otafiire is talking about was abducted, yet he supports NRM. So it shows you that injustice somewhere is injustice everywhere. The injustice that is being faced by the opposition can also be mended on senior NRM officials. And for me, I keep on telling people that those who sound the drums of abductions within government, time is going to come when the abduction machinery is on you and you have no one to fight for you. I remember Kayura used to come out to say that people are not supposed to be given bail. When he was caught by the same regime, he cried like a baby, tears flew up to his chest, crying that he should be given a mandatory bail. In fact, for the charges to be dropped, he had to go and kneel down to MUHOOZI when he had visited Kabaale for the charges to be dropped. Yet he was a cadre of abduction. Let's continue with Kahinda Otafiire.
Wait a minute. When people of my size, height, and weight disappear without trace, that's it. How can a man big as I am disappear without trace? Because this child is going to be the morning said if he's been killed, at least.
So that is Kahinda Otafiire. So for me, when Kahinda Otafiire comes out to say that a person knows was abducted, yet the sound was given by an Kenyan activist. In fact, if it weren't for Kenyan activists, we wouldn't know that a person who was abducted was Kahinda Otafiire's brother. We wouldn't have known. So I followed the events. Kahinda Otafiire came out to speak about it. I first put it under the table. You know, when I'm making some videos, I do some research. Some of the stories penned when I don't have the actual test. So when the Kenyan activists came out to confirm that when he was in the coolers, he saw General Kahinda Otafiire's brother, it sends signals. In fact, for those who never followed, here is the Kenyan activist saying that there is a person in the coolers who came out to say that they should speak for him. Here's the tape.
We have the brother to the Internal Affairs Minister, the brother, his own brother, the Minister for Internal Affairs, Otafiire. He's looking for his brother. He was my bedmate. His brother has been in the same place for 4 months. The family doesn't know where he is. They think he's dead. I left him in the cell and he asked me, Bob, he asked me to talk to you to make sure the message gets to the president, because the president is not aware about some of these things. It is the son, MUHOOZI, who is undertaking these crimes against humanity. They have been undertaken at the Special Forces Command Center in Kasenyi. That is a training ground for the presidential security team. And they call themselves next to none because they are next to none. They don't take command from any other, either the judiciary, parliament, whether it's the executive. So this is an armed militia that is operating under the General MUHOOZI. And there are so many Ugandans. I left there over 150 of them in custody. People who are serving, who are being kept without going through any court process. They have been detained, some of them up to a year. That is what is calling the fridge, if you want to know what the fridge is. So there are some people who are actually in the freezer, not in the fridge. And as a human rights issue, these people have no cases. Most of them, they've been kept there for political reasons. And we have to come in now as human rights defenders and also say that we should not associate ourselves with such oppressive regimes.
So that is the Kenyan activist. He came out to say categorically that there are some people who have been kept for up to a year. Remember Kahinda Otafiire in the video I played for you, he came out to say that the person has been abducted for more than 6 months and has never been tried. Detention without trial in the 21st century in Uganda is so absurd. And most especially when the regime went to the bush on the account of the people they fought because they did these things. So if a person like Kahinda Otafiire can come out to say that his brother is abducted, what about me, Kabiya Sulaiman Mawagari, Mr. Makindi, who doesn't have a brother in the police, who doesn't have a brother in government? Okay? So these things, first of all, let me interrogate them. One, if it comes out to say that they are abducted by the SFC, which is headed by Moses Karugama, remember Kahinda Otafiire has been so vocal about transition, saying that power should not be given to the son and the grandfather. And for that, he met General Moses Karugama. There is a day Kahinda Otafiire came out to say that.
I have nothing against General Moses. Nothing personal. The only thing that I object to is that people proclaim that General Muhoozi should be made president of Uganda because he's son of General MUSEVENI. That's wrong.
General MUHOOZI, if he wants to take power, should take it democratically, as per laid down procedures and regulations in a democratic, fair, competitive election. Not because he's President Museveni's son. That's dangerous. Because if you say so and so's son will take over from the father, his son will also want to take over from his grandfather.
Okay, and you clearly see that Kahinda Otafiire was punching the holes in the transition, which is aimed at making General Moses Kainerugaba the next president. Because even me, I personally think that one of the biggest mistakes which would ever happen to Uganda is Moses being a president. It is one of the biggest mistakes. Uganda will have to go back 70 years because the way how General Moses expresses himself. Remember, the issue of abduction and basements cannot be detached from him because he has ever come out on his Twitter to torture Eddie Mutwe and drummed that he has Eddie Mutwe in the basement, and Eddie Mutwe came out after being tortured. It is the truth. So if a leader, a CDF, comes out to say that he has abducted someone and he has put him in the basement for torture, and that person comes out with wounds, visible wounds, and taken to the prison, even judges don't have humanity to let that person go to the prison. You clearly see that Uganda is going somewhere dangerous. So Kahinda Otafiire, one, I think Kahinda Otafiire's statements ever is trying to detach the bad things of what government does from himself, because it's a means of internal affairs. In case there is a transition, if they put him in a dock, he'll come out to say that I also used to come out and say that people are being abducted. So he's trying to detach himself because he knows change is inevitable. Ugandans and those in power, make sure before you execute any order, just know that humanity can prevail. Just look in history. Uganda has had very many powerful people who would, on the flip of their hands, directs anybody to be killed and arrested. They are no more. Uganda is going to stay here after us and will stay here after our grandchildren. Don't make humanity, okay, curse your names and your family. Of course, that's my opinion. Remain yours truly, Mr. Makindi. Kavi Sulaiman Mawaga, the next MP for Makindi East constituency. I'll see you on another one. Peace.